Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you guys again for tuning in to another episode of Keep Trucha. We have another special guest tonight, Skilly Waves, all the way from Jerome, Idaho. Shout out to 208. And Skilly, if you can go ahead and just give us a little brief background on your bio and kind of, how you got to where you're at now.
What up? You're rocking with your boy Skilly Waves. I want to say I've been into music forever, but trying to take it serious, like recording professionally, I'd say like 16.
Okay. And one of the freestyles you just dropped, Room Temp Agua.
Yeah.
You said something in there. You said you're going to always gain from growth. And I mean, like, so right now where I'm at, just to give you kind of heads up, like this year, I'm like really on this whole like mindset and like getting myself to a point where I'm like mentally ready for whatever. And so I understand that. But when it comes to like when you said it, where does that mindset come from for you? Like, where did you start kind of going on that path of like developing your mindset?
I'd say for me, it's just this journey called life, man. You know what I mean? A bunch of trial and error. For me, my biggest thing is it comes from stemming from being an immigrant. You know what I mean? I've dealt with trials and tribulations and more downs than up my whole life. So for me, it's like at some point I had to quit looking at all my fails and losses as fails and losses. I needed to start acquiring them in my life book as notes and lessons. You know what I mean? To not repeat the same, whatever that wasn't producing results or just bad habits and things like that, cutting that out, the whole don't be afraid of growth, or actually don't be afraid of change, you know what I mean? Because change is good whether you want to believe it at the moment in time or not, but I feel like in the long run, change is always a good thing for anybody in life, especially somebody or anybody out there that's really trying to like change their situation or got goals in mind that they're trying to reach.
Definitely. And you mentioned, being an immigrant, and obviously you're aware of like what we're trying to do, Abel and I, with La Frontera. And the whole point for us and what we're doing with the platform is to kind of help almost like shrink the world a little bit in terms of create a platform where kind of people can get to know people from wherever they're at in the world. And so you're from Michoacan. When did you come to America?
Yeah, man, I've been gringoized since I was like 3 years old. So I've been here for the majority of my life. I have not had the opportunity to go back just because up until I was like 21, I was illegal. So I got my paperwork, you know what I'm saying? Got my Carfax all good. So I can go back. I just haven't had that opportunity to do so yet, but I'm hoping maybe this year I could go touchdown in the motherland.
Awesome, man. And just kind of, if you can briefly take us through your childhood, you said it wasn't, necessarily easy coming up like that. I know for myself, the whole like identification with, being Mexican myself, and then also like my friends and not everybody, speaking Spanish. And I was always kind of like embarrassed a little bit. Obviously now growing up, I kind of like look back and I'm like, damn, like I really want to invest myself in where I come from and invest in learning, invest in bridging that gap basically. And so for you, what was it like growing up?
I'm not gonna say it was like the roughest childhood or anything like that, you know what I mean? Because shout out to my moms and my pops. They've always been very family oriented, so I've always had like good support from just having parentals around and stuff. But I think for me, one of my biggest issues was I was probably a lot more angry when I was younger, because of all the shit I would see people. I guess just opportunities and certain things in life that I saw people just get granted to them that throughout my life I had to earn, and I had to work like double time just to get these same handouts that other people just naturally receive. So I'd say it was hard, just especially out here in Idaho, you know what I mean? And we're talking like earlier times, like the 90s type shit when I was growing up. So that was like, just being brown is hard in general, just because people want to like stereotype, people want to throw you into all kinds of avenues and things that, from different perceptions they might have of other Mexicans or whatever like that. So for me, I guess it was dealing with, just trying to solidify myself as a good person, regardless of my race or my background or upbringing or whatever, because I really don't feel like none of that should matter, really. If you're a good person at heart, that's something that shows through character and just how, mannerisms and how you are in general.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And, for myself, another big thing, another big aspect is confidence. And I know, you know, in any industry, and I feel like especially with being an artist, being especially a musician, you go into the booth, you want to feel that energy, that flow, that confidence. So for you, what are there anything, any like tips or tricks that you do to kind of build your confidence?
Honestly, at least for me, just speaking for myself, the confidence that I get in a studio is because of the time invested that I know I've invested. So I guess I would just um, kind of compare it to like somebody who's good at any other trade or craft, like, job related. If you know what your tool does A through Z, then that's for me. So if I put in a studio setting against, I don't care who, I don't, if you're a new artist, a seasoned artist, whatever, I know my function and my capability in a studio setting on my own. So I guess my confidence just comes from, if I'm going to say I'm going to make this ball fly 50,000 feet in the air, that's because I've already done it and I know I can do it anytime I need to. And that's just, like I said, that comes from time invested where I've polished and perfected what I do. So when I talk my shit, it's because I know what I'm capable of doing with it.
Yeah, so you've built that kind of like muscle memory over time, and that's interesting. Like, I don't know if you heard, like, Kobe Bryant every single night would never leave until he made 300 shots.
Yeah, yeah.
No matter what. So I definitely agree with you on that in terms of building that muscle memory. And as far as, like, let's say for example someone who is listening, maybe they're like 12 or 11 years old and they're kind of considering getting into the industry and wanting to do music. Is there anything that you would kind of offer them as far as like a message or advice or anything like that?
To be honest, over the years, especially these last 3 years of me doing music, I would say is, especially in the time that we are now, like, you don't need anybody for anything. Like, you can become very self-sufficient on your own, and it just depends on this is where I throw in the ganas. It's just kind of what kind of ganas do you have to like do something with it? Because all I know is I've got plenty praise from like technically trained people and engineers and producers, which that always helps me feel great because everything I've done and I'm capable of doing has all been self-taught, and me having the opportunities to sit down and soak up game with other people. But as far as what I would tell a young kid wanting to rap is, look up a bunch of YouTube videos and figure your shit out, and you can do it depending on what kind of time you want to invest into that. And that's not just music, that's anything in general. Just, what kind of effort are you willing to put into it? Because that's the results you'll get back.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, it really is crazy how, like, times have changed, and now we have, in the palm of our hands, access to unlimited amount of knowledge. But like you said, you got to have the ganas, you have to have the willingness to put in the work, and I feel like that kind of going back to the whole growth aspect of it. I feel like a lot of people probably, at least for myself, what I've seen, a lot of people seem to struggle with this whole notion of, like, unless I'm going to be 1,000% right when I start, I don't want to do it because I don't want to be embarrassed, or I don't want to look, weak or goofy, or, whatever the case might be. But this whole, like, notion of growth is really fascinating for me, because it's basically like this whole idea of, like, no matter what you do, you're going to suck at it at the beginning. You just got to put in the work and put in that effort. And I definitely see it with you and what you put out, over the years. And you've been doing this for a long time now. How long have you been doing it for?
Like 10 or 11 years, I would say. Yeah. So, what I mean? I'm not, yeah, it's just, you definitely what I will say is that I didn't mention is I'm a firm believer in the whole practice makes perfect. Whether you ever actually hit that, that label of perfect or whatever that may mean to you. But I feel like the more we strive for that, the better we get, the better you know what I mean? You might stumble and try something else that you weren't trying. So that's always cool to just expand your arsenal, is what I like to think.
Yeah, an experiment. And that's another thing I want to bring up. I know that you've, in your music career, you've expanded and you've experimented with other, maybe not genres, but like different tools and different, things that come up. What does that been like for you as far as, you know, kind of getting into a different genre or trying something new in the industry?
To me, it's fun. Like, and that's what fuels the music to me. That's from the jump. Like, I've always had a passion for just creating something. So for me, this year you'll definitely hear me on a whole bunch of different vibes. Like, to be honest, like rap just got boring to me because, you know what I mean. I can do what I need to do with it. So this year you'll hear me on probably trying to sing some stuff. You'll hear me on some Spanish jams. You know what I mean? Like some like whole different genres of stuff. So for me, it's just fun. You know what I mean? I feel like when you don't have a genuine passion or fun, like it like stride in there, then whatever you're doing is never going to be that enjoyable. Or your chances of expanding and learning and, you know, just expanding in general, it won't happen for you because your brain's not enjoying what you're doing. So for me, it's always been a fun aspect in anything I do musically. It's just fun for me to create, especially because music to me and the way I view artists, not just myself, but other artists in general, like I feel like as artists, we should be evolving constantly. If we're not evolving as an artist or willing or wanting to try something different, then, you know, we should probably pick something else to do because I feel like art is the one thing in the world that you can't set a specific, you know, label or box to, like, hey, this is what it is and this is how you do it. Like, I feel like art is subjective to anyone creating it and anyone enjoying it.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, again, I want to be respectful of your time. So to wrap it up, what do you have next? Like, what are your goals for this next year, and what's next for your career as far as music and even personal, if there's anything?
So, well, I'm going to venture off a little more into the media side this year. I want to say, because like I said, music is fun. I dabbled in engineering and producing last year. So I'm definitely going to do some more of that this year. Aside from that, you can probably check in with Chop Culture later this year. You'll see us do a little venture of Hungry Boys, where we're going to be doing our little version of just reviews on good music, good local food spots and stuff like that. You know, just kind of the word of mouth joints out around the state, and hopefully we can garner some attention out of here. But definitely going to tap in more with the media versus just, you know, doing music and stuff. As far as shows go, I'll be doing a few, and then anyone else that's looking to get me on a show, just know that it comes with a fee this year because we put in way too much work for free work. And singles, and definitely all my music platforms, like I said, iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, Tidal, like etc., whatever it is that people like to use. I'm gonna have a whole gang of new material coming this year. I'll definitely have at least a new single every month, is what I'm kind of shooting for right now. And I'll probably just put it out there right now just so I get it done, but I'll probably end up dropping another album for sure before the summer. And hopefully in February, I'm not going to jinx a date or nothing, but in February, I've got a collaborative effort with my boy AC Delgado.
Okay.
So hopefully that sees the light. And if it doesn't, there's plenty of singles and collabs on the way with my homie. So Renovation Boys 2K19, we staying hydrated. That's what we're doing.
All right, man. Well, again, man, I appreciate your time. You know, we'll stick with you and let us know, man, if there's anything that we can do to help, you know, promote. Of course, you know, Abel is my partner, so we'll be promoting the Hungry Boys and everything you guys put out. So just stay in touch, man.
All I need is some more La Frontera gear so I can rock when we get these up.
Man. Only Vibes.
I just seen that. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, so I forgot we got your Only Vibes out too. So, you know, check, everyone watching, make sure to check that out too.
Yeah, definitely go to Aguila Creative / Only Vibes, and you should be able to find my stuff there. And if not, find some Chop Culture merch and get with the movement. You know, that's my boy right there. So we're going strong all year. Find me on all music platforms, any app that you like. Find me on any social media. All you gotta do is search Skilly Waves. I am the only light-skinned, suave, Asian, Mexican. Yeah, I don't know. Other than that, catch me on YouTube. Look me up on anything media related under Skilly Waves. I'm the only one that exists under that alias.
Yeah. All right, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, guys. Thank you guys again for tuning into another episode We'd appreciate any support we could get. Like, shares, comments. If you like the show, please subscribe. And we have some new gear as well. You can find that at www.lafronterasupply.com. And please be sure to tune in for the next episode. It's going to be airing next week. Thank you, guys.